Clean eating sounds simple until you actually try it. You walk into the store ready to eat healthy, and everything is labeled natural, plant-based, or made with real ingredients. But when you turn the package around, it's ultra-processed, full of fillers, synthetic chemicals, and nothing at all like real food. So you fill your cart, you spend hundreds, and somehow it still doesn't feel right. No wonder eating clean feels impossible. And honestly, I get it. I've been eating clean for almost 20 years, and I still feel that pressure with the grocery prices, the hidden ingredients, and also the time crunch. As a single mom, I get why so many people give up trying, but here's what I've learned. Clean eating doesn't have to be expensive or complicated. It gets 10 times easier when you start growing just a few things yourself. Because when you grow these 3 foods we're about to talk about, something shifts. And if you're new here, I'm Courtney, and I help people grow real food in small spaces so that you can eat better, save money, and simplify life. And if you want to skip the overwhelm and start building your own real food foundation, I'll link my free training below in the description. It's the exact system I use to keep this simple all year long without burnout. All right, let's dig in. But to understand why this works and why most people struggle for years, we need to go back a little bit. Clean eating should be simple, but the truth is, convenience has ruled for nearly 70 years. After World War II, processed and packaged foods exploded. Canned meals, boxed dinners, frozen everything. And it was marketed as modern and liberating. For busy families, it was a lifesaver, and we've never looked back. And now we're 3 generations deep into convenience culture, and clean eating feels impossible. The food industry caught on to our guilt, so they started labeling everything as healthy. Gluten-free, fat-free, high protein, keto, organic, and half of it is still full of preservatives and fake flavor enhancers. So even when you try to eat clean, you're torn between convenience versus health, price versus quality, and time versus energy, and that isn't our fault. It's actually by design. But here's the good news. Growing even just a few things yourself breaks that cycle, because it's not just about food, it's about confidence. When you see where your food comes from, clean eating stops feeling like a battle and starts feeling like freedom. When I switched to clean eating 20 years ago, it wasn't a trend, it was actually survival. I had chronic migraines, constant fatigue, and nobody could figure it out. After one scary ER visit with intestinal issues, I decided that something had to change. When I started cutting out chemicals, my body began to heal, but then cooking was difficult. I was used to sauces and packaged seasonings that I didn't even think of identifying. And suddenly I had to create flavor from scratch. So I started buying garlic, herbs, and greens from local farmers markets and the store, and that's when it started to click. Real food didn't need fake flavor, but it did need freshness. A few months later, I realized that I could grow those same ingredients by myself, and when I did, my life totally changed. Throughout the years, garlic became the staple crop that makes me realize over and over again that clean eating tastes amazing. Store-bought garlic is fine, but when you grow it yourself, it's stronger, sweeter, and it reminds you that flavor doesn't have to come from a bottle. It's the foundation of every meal I cook. Garlic is high value because you can grow a year's supply in one small bed, cure it once, and then it stores for up to 12 months, meaning fewer grocery trips and more real meals. If you cook at home even a few times a week, garlic pays for itself in one harvest and gives you cleaner flavor than any sauce or seasoning packet ever could. Next is herbs like basil, parsley, cilantro, and chives, and they're so easy to grow in any space, and you can choose the varieties you love. There are so many different kinds of herbs. A few pots on a windowsill can save you hundreds of dollars a year compared to store herbs that wilt in days. Along with garlic, I call them gateway crops because they make everything taste fresh in a matter of seconds. You can toss them on roasted veggies, you can toss them in scrambled eggs, pasta, soups, and pretty much anything you're cooking, and suddenly your food feels restaurant level without additives or much effort. And when you grow your own herbs, you're never going to waste another $3 bundle from the store that turns brown in 2 days. You just go outside or to your windowsill and snip what you need. Herbs allow you to naturally cut back on sodium and additives without even trying. And finally, greens like lettuce, kale, and spinach. These are what make clean eating practical. When they're fresh from your garden, they're crisp, they're sweet, and they are full of life and nothing like the sad bagged greens that go slimy in your fridge after 2 days. They're also one of the best returns on effort. You can grow a continuous supply for pennies and they regrow so fast. Most are ready to harvest in 30 days. What's wild though is how this one crop shifts your habits. When you have fresh greens right outside, you actually want to eat them. Smoothies, wraps, soups, quick side dishes, and it's easy because it's right there. When the grocery store lettuce costs $6 a bag for low quality, it just makes sense. So here's what I've learned. Clean eating doesn't start in the grocery store. It starts with one small act that puts you back in control. The moment you grow your own food, even just one pot, your whole mindset changes. You see the marketing tricks for what they are, and you stop chasing perfection. You start focusing on what's real. And I really think that's what breaks the overwhelm with trying to eat cleaner, because now you're not just reacting, you're taking back your control over what's going into your body. Clean eating feels hard because we've been set up to fail by marketing, by time, and by exhaustion. But when you grow even a few things like the garlic, herbs, and greens that we talked about, now there's your real control of what goes on your plate. Then you stop chasing healthy enough and you start living intentionally. If you're ready to see what this looks like in action, go watch my video on 25 foods you can replace and turn these same clean eating principles into real meals year-round, even in a tiny space. And if you want the step-by-step system that keeps it all simple, grab my free training linked in the description. It's the same framework I use to rebuild after burnout and make clean eating second nature. Thanks so much for watching.